Have you ever wondered why life feels heavy even when nothing is physically weighing you down? The haunting truth is, your joy, your fear, your struggles are not solid things. They are energy. And energy, once scattered, becomes suffering. What you think, you become. If this is true, then the question is, how are you shaping your energy right now? Most people don't realize they are leaking it through attachments, draining it in worry, or fighting it in silence. But Buddhism reveals energy can be mastered. Stay with me, because once you learn to control it, everything changes. Before we begin with number 1, subscribe to Deep Wisdom, where every video is a doorway to calm, clarity, and timeless Buddhist insight you won't find anywhere else. And don't miss the powerful bonus lesson waiting at the very end. Let's begin. 1. The web you cannot see. Everything you touch, everything you see, everything you fear, it is not as solid as it seems. The world is not built from stones and steel alone, but from vibrations, from moving currents of energy dancing through existence. What you hold as permanent is only passing. If nothing is solid, then what are you truly clinging to? Life is like a bell struck by time. Its sound reverberates, yet never remains. We chase echoes, trying to capture them in our hands, but they slip away. Just like that, the relationships you once thought unshakable, the failures that once seemed unbearable, the moments of joy and sorrow, all of them are only vibrations fading into silence. To mistake them as permanent is to invite suffering. Pause for a moment. Close your eyes and feel the hum of your breath. Notice how it rises and falls, like a silent vibration within your chest. This is the truth the Buddha pointed toward. Nothing is fixed. Everything flows. Energy does not sit still. It transforms, it moves, it radiates outward. You too are not static. You are vibration. And yet we resist. We cling to jobs that no longer serve us, to memories that wound us, to fears that paralyze us. But tell me, what pain are you gripping that is already dissolving? What chains hold you if the very links are only vibrating air? What if, instead of holding tighter, you let it flow? Modern life makes us forget this truth. Deadlines, expectations, constant noise, all of it tricks you into believing life is rigid. But your body, your mind, your emotions are energy fields shifting each moment. When you stop seeing them as permanent walls and instead as moving currents, suddenly freedom becomes possible. The Buddha taught that attachment to the illusion of solidity is the root of suffering. He did not say life is cruel, only that it is ever-changing. When you understand this, control begins, not through force, but through awareness. You do not command energy like a master over a servant. You guide it, like a sailor adjusting his sails to the wind. So here is your practice. When fear arises, do not push it away. Instead, observe it. Feel its vibration within your chest and watch how it shifts when you breathe. When joy arises, do not cling. Let it pass like the sound of the bell, carrying gratitude instead of attachment. When anger comes, sit with it and notice how its fire weakens when you no longer feed it. Energy is not your enemy. It is your path. Mastery comes not from control, but from harmony. At the heart of Buddhism lies this wisdom. When you stop leaking energy into illusions, power flows back to your soul like a river returning to the ocean. Remember this: energy is not something you use, it is something you become. Master it, and you master life. 2. The leaks that drain your soul. Why do you feel tired even when you've done nothing? Why does your soul feel heavy even on days when your body has barely moved? The Buddha pointed to a quiet truth. Exhaustion does not always come from work, but from the invisible leaks within. Energy follows the chains of attachment. Wherever you cling, your strength follows until you are left hollow. Imagine yourself as a golden bowl. At first, it is radiant, whole, able to hold the pure waters of life. But with every unhealthy attachment, every resentment, every fear, a crack appears. And like a cracked vessel, the more you try to fill yourself through craving, the faster your energy spills away. No amount of rest can restore you if you are still leaking energy into illusions. Think of the arguments you replay in your mind, the endless scrolling through the noise of others' lives, the moments you sit in fear of what might go wrong. These are not harmless habits, they are cracks. Each one drains the life force you could be using for peace, creativity, or love. Can you see how much of your energy is not stolen, but surrendered? Close your eyes for a moment and visualize this bowl within you. See where the cracks appear. Is it a relationship that no longer nourishes you? A habit that numbs instead of heals? A memory you refuse to release? Awareness is the first seal. For when you see clearly where the leaks are, you already begin the work of closing them. Modern life makes this leakage feel normal. We glorify busyness, chase distractions, and call it living. But deep within, your spirit knows when it is pouring itself out into emptiness. That's why you feel tired without cause. The truth is not that you lack energy. The truth is that you are leaking it. The Buddha taught that craving is the root of suffering. Every desire that grips you tighter than wisdom allows, weakens you. It does not mean you must abandon the world, but rather engage with it consciously. When you drink, know you are drinking. When you love, know you are loving. In mindfulness, cracks are sealed and energy no longer escapes unnoticed. So ask yourself now, where are your leaks? Are they in the people you try to please, in the emotions you avoid, in the habits you defend? And more importantly, are you ready to seal them with awareness? This is not about deprivation, it is about preservation. When you hold your energy within, when you stop wasting it on what does not serve your path, you grow luminous. Your presence deepens, your mind steadies, your heart radiates. Remember this, you do not lose energy by living, you lose it by leaking. Guard your bowl with wisdom, and the waters of life will sustain you endlessly. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I command my energy." 3. Turning shadows into light. Can anger or sorrow ever become strength? Most of us see our negative emotions as enemies, things to suppress, ignore, or run from. But in truth, they are energy, no different than joy or peace. The Buddha reminds us, fire can burn you or warm you. What matters is not the flame itself, but how you choose to use it. Picture your emotions as glowing coals. When clutched tightly in the hand, they scorch you, leaving wounds that take years to heal. But placed carefully in a hearth, those same coals become life-giving warmth, guiding light, and even nourishment. In the same way, anger, fear, or grief, if left uncontrolled, consume you. Yet when understood with awareness, they transform into power, compassion, and clarity. Take a moment to visualize this. Imagine your anger as a flame in your chest, wild and uncontrolled. Now breathe deeply, and in your mind's eye, shift that flame into a lantern. See it resting before you, steady, glowing, not burning, but illuminating your path. This is the art of energy transmutation, turning shadows into light. In everyday life, we waste so much energy fighting what arises within us. we feel sadness and immediately try to distract ourselves. We feel anger and lash out without pause. But what if every painful emotion was raw energy for growth? What if instead of rejecting it, you harnessed it? Your sorrow could deepen your compassion. Your anger could fuel justice. Your fear could awaken courage. The Buddha did not teach that we must become empty of emotions. Instead, he taught that wisdom comes from seeing their nature clearly. Every emotion is a vibration, temporary, moving, shifting. When you sit with it instead of resisting, you begin to see its hidden message. That is when anger becomes clarity, sorrow becomes softness, and fear becomes awareness. Modern life often convinces us to hide our shadows, to wear only smiles. But suppression is another form of burning. Energy cannot be destroyed, it only changes form. The more you push your emotions away, the more they consume you in silence. Transformation begins when you give them a place in your lantern, instead of clenching them in your fist. So ask yourself, what is the flame you are holding right now? Is it anger at someone who wronged you? Is it grief that never found a voice? Is it fear of a future you cannot control? And how would your story change if you turned that very flame into your guiding light? Remember, energy does not come labeled as good or bad. It is only raw power waiting to be shaped. Mastery lies in choosing to warm your soul instead of burning your hands. When you transform shadows into light, every wound becomes wisdom, and every struggle becomes fuel for awakening. 4. The power of silent presence. What happens when energy stops running into the past and the future? What happens when it gathers here in the silence of this very breath? The Buddha said, "The present moment is the only vessel that does not leak." Past and future are riddled with cracks. One pours your energy into regret, the other into fear. Only the now can hold your strength whole. Imagine a still pond at night. When its surface rests, the moon is perfectly reflected. But when the water is restless, stirred by constant waves, the image is lost. Your mind is that pond. When scattered by thoughts of what was or what might be, your reflection blurs. But when stilled by presence, clarity returns and you see truth as it is. Take one deep breath. With each inhale, notice how the fragments of yourself begin to gather. With each exhale, feel how stillness settles into your body, drawing scattered pieces back into wholeness. This is the power of silent presence, the art of reclaiming what you've been spilling into memories and worries. How much of your energy lives in yesterday? In replaying old mistakes, holding on to what was lost, wishing life had unfolded differently? And how much of it lives in tomorrow, worrying about outcomes you cannot control, crafting fears that never arrive? When you pour into these illusions, you drain yourself. But when you return to now, energy flows back, strong and unbroken. Modern life thrives on scattering you. Notifications tug you into distraction. Ambition drags you into imagined futures. Regret whispers reminders of unfinished pasts. But notice, none of this exists outside your mind. Only this moment, this inhale, this exhale holds life. To live here is to hold your energy intact. The Buddha's path is not escape, but presence. When you eat, taste each bite without rush. When you walk, feel the earth steady beneath your feet. When you listen, let the voice before you be your whole world. These small acts are not insignificant. They are seals for the cracks where your energy leaks. So pause and reflect. How would your days feel if you stopped scattering yourself into places you cannot reach? What would happen if you gave the fullness of your attention, your energy, your presence to what is right here. Wouldn't life itself begin to feel lighter, clearer, more whole? Energy is not always about movement. Sometimes its greatest power is stillness. Just as the pond becomes a mirror when it rests, your mind becomes luminous when it dwells in now. Silent presence is not empty. It is full, overflowing, radiant. Remember this: the present moment does not leak. When you live here fully, your energy is not only preserved, it becomes boundless. 5. The illusion of control. Why do we lose power the more we grasp at it? Why does the harder you try to force life into your shape, the further it slips away? The Buddha whispered a timeless truth: the hand that tightens cannot hold. Real strength does not come from control, but from harmony. Think of a small bird resting in your hands. If you squeeze too tightly, you suffocate it. If you hold with gentleness, it stays, breathing softly, alive in your palms. Life is the same. The more we cling, demand, and fight against its current, the more it resists us. But when we loosen our grip, when we cup it lightly, it begins to flow with us, not against us. Close your eyes for a moment and visualize your own hand unclenching. Imagine it moving from a tight, rigid fist into an open palm. Notice how release itself feels like gaining strength. Your breath deepens, your shoulders soften, your body relaxes. Control is an illusion, but surrender is power. Yet most of us live in the illusion. We try to control the future, fearing uncertainty. We try to control others, fearing rejection. We even try to control ourselves, forcing perfection until we collapse under its weight. But has grasping ever brought peace? Or has it only drained your energy, leaving you restless and tired? Modern life celebrates control. Control over time, money, reputation, even emotions. But the Buddha saw clearly: the tighter the grip, the sharper the suffering. A clenched mind is like a clenched fist. It cannot receive, it cannot flow, it cannot breathe. So ask yourself gently, where are you forcing life to obey you? Is it in a relationship where you demand love instead of allowing it? Is it in your career where you chase recognition instead of offering your best presence? Or is it within yourself where you cling to an image of who you think you must be? The paradox is simple. When you soften your grip, energy returns. Like a river freed from a dam, life begins to move naturally, carrying you further than force ever could. To release is not weakness, it is wisdom. It is to trust the rhythm of the universe, to let energy move as it was meant to move. This does not mean passivity. It means choosing presence over pressure, guidance over domination. It means aligning with the flow instead of fighting it. A wise sailor does not command the wind, he opens the sail. Remember this: the hand that tightens cannot hold. When you unclench, you do not lose power, you discover it. True mastery is not controlling life, but walking with it, step by step, with a heart that trusts the current. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I command my energy," 6. The dance between flow and direction. How do you guide energy without resistance? This is a question every seeker must face. To fight against life's current is to exhaust yourself, but to drift without intention is to be carried anywhere the stream decides. The Buddha's wisdom lies in balance, neither grasping nor abandoning. A river shapes the land not by force, but by persistence. Energy is like a river. If you push against it, you drown in effort. If you flow with it blindly, you lose your way. But when you step into it with awareness, adjusting your course with gentle persistence, you travel far. Life is not conquered by force, it is navigated by presence. Close your eyes and imagine yourself stepping into a clear stream. Feel the water rushing, cool against your skin. At first, it pulls you, but as you relax, you find yourself floating, carried by its strength. Now picture yourself adjusting with small movements, your hand here, your foot there, directing where you go without struggle. This is the art of guiding energy. In daily life, we often make two mistakes. One is resistance, fighting reality, clinging to control, exhausting ourselves trying to make the river obey. The other is passivity, drifting without purpose, surrendering our energy to chance. But the path of wisdom is neither. It is a dance, flowing with life, while gently guiding its direction. Think of your emotions. When anger comes, resistance only fuels it, and passivity lets it consume you. But with awareness, you guide it, transforming it into clarity and strength. Think of your work. Forcing results creates burnout, while drifting brings aimlessness. But guiding energy through discipline and patience shapes lasting success. The Buddha taught that right effort is not about force, but about balance. Like the string of a lute, it must not be too tight nor too loose. Too much effort, and the string snaps. Too little, and no sound arises. Your life, too, must find this middle path where energy flows yet is directed with care. So ask yourself, what would happen if you stopped fighting life's flow and started guiding it instead? How much lighter would your days feel if you trusted the river to carry you while simply steering your course with gentle awareness? Energy responds not to force, but to alignment. The river does not resist the mountain, yet over time, it carves valleys of breathtaking beauty. In the same way, your persistence, patience, and gentle guidance can shape your reality without draining your spirit. Remember this: energy is a river. Resist it, and you drown. Abandon it, and you drift. But guide it with presence, and it will carry you further than you ever imagined. This is the dance between flow and direction, the secret to living with both peace and power. 7. Karma, the echo of energy. Why does energy always return? Why does every thought, word, and action seem to circle back, shaping the very reality you walk into? The Buddha revealed this truth through karma. Every wave that leaves the shore finds its way back. Energy is not lost. It is echoed, carried, and returned to the source. Imagine standing in a vast canyon. You call out, and your voice returns to you, shaped by how you released it. Gentle words come back as softness. Harsh words return as sharpness. Karma is this echo, life repeating what you have sent, reminding you that you are both the speaker and the listener. Close your eyes for a moment and picture a ripple moving outward from your heart. It spreads across the still waters of existence, reaching far beyond what you can see. But in time, it circles back with equal force, touching you again. Every action, no matter how small, is such a ripple. The energy you give is always the energy you meet. This is why anger breeds more anger and compassion breeds more peace. When you push harm into the world, you eventually stand in the storm you created. But when you sow kindness, patience, and understanding, life gently weaves those threads back into your own story. Karma is not punishment or reward, it is reflection. Think of your daily life, the way you speak to a stranger, the way you treat your loved ones, the way you speak silently to yourself. These are not fleeting moments, they are ripples shaping tomorrow's waters. What energy are you pouring out into the world without noticing? The Buddha's wisdom teaches us that energy is never neutral. It carries intention. A thought soaked in fear plants a seed of unrest. A thought born of compassion plants a seed of healing. Whether you see it now or years later, the garden you walk through is always the one you planted. So reflect carefully. What energy are you sending into the world today? Is it bitterness, criticism, impatience? Or is it gentleness, gratitude, peace? And perhaps the deeper question, are you ready to meet it when it returns? For return, it always does. This truth is both humbling and empowering. Humbling because you cannot escape the echoes of your own energy. Empowering because at any moment you can choose differently. You can change the vibration you send, and in doing so, change the future that circles back. Remember this: karma is not destiny, it is resonance. Every wave you send into the ocean of life will return, carrying your signature. Choose carefully, for you are not just shaping the world, you are shaping the world that will one day meet you. 8. The energy of thought. If thoughts are energy, how are they shaping your destiny? The Buddha taught that the mind is the forerunner of all things, that every joy, every sorrow begins first as a thought. The mind weaves the fabric you wear. What you think today becomes the garment you live in tomorrow. Imagine each thought as a brushstroke on the canvas of your life. One stroke may seem small, but enough strokes together paint the portrait of your entire existence. A thought of kindness is a bright stroke of light. A thought of bitterness is a dark mark. Over years, the picture becomes clear, your inner world reflected outward. Take a moment to visualize this. Watch a single thought enter your mind. Perhaps it is worry, perhaps gratitude. See it float there, then dissolve like ink in water, spreading outward, coloring the whole space. This is what each thought does. It ripples, it radiates, it paints the atmosphere of your life. We often underestimate the quiet power of our own thinking. We say harsh words to ourselves in silence and wonder why our days feel heavy. We replay fears like broken records and wonder why life feels uncertain. But remember, every thought is energy, and energy moves. It does not remain locked inside. It creates, it shapes, it attracts. In modern life, the mind is rarely still. Worries about the future, regrets of the past, endless noise from the world around us. These constant brushstrokes may be painting a picture you do not even wish to see. That is why awareness matters. To see the thought is to reclaim the power it holds. The Buddha did not say to suppress thought, but to observe it with mindfulness. When you catch a thought rising, you need not follow it blindly. You can simply watch it, breathe with it, and let it dissolve like ink in water. In doing so, you free yourself from being painted over by your own unconscious strokes. So reflect deeply. What portrait are you painting with your daily thoughts? Is it one of peace, compassion, resilience? Or is it one of fear, anger, and self-doubt? And more importantly, do you love the picture forming before your eyes? The truth is simple. Change your thoughts and you change your energy. Change your energy and you change your life. Each moment offers a fresh canvas, each thought a new brushstroke. Choose wisely, for this is the art of self-mastery. Remember this: your thoughts are not small, they are seeds. Plant them with care, water them with awareness, and the life that grows will be one you are proud to walk within. The mind weaves the fabric you wear. Make it a garment of light. We'd love to hear your thoughts. If you're not sure what to say, just type, "I command my energy." 9. Emotions, the unseen currents. Why do emotions feel heavier than thoughts? A thought may come and go like a breeze, but when it deepens into emotion, it moves through the body, pulling you like an unseen tide. The Buddha hinted at this truth. Emotion is thought that learned to swim. Once thought enters the waters of feeling, it gains weight, depth, and power. Imagine emotions as the tides of the ocean, sometimes calm, carrying you gently, sometimes storm, pulling you under with force. Yet no tide stays forever. Just as the moon pulls the sea and releases it again, your emotions rise, swell, and pass. They are not fixed walls, they are currents, always shifting. Close your eyes and feel your breath as a wave, rising, falling, expanding, returning. This simple rhythm proves what your emotions often try to hide. No state is permanent. Joy crests and fades, anger surges and weakens, sorrow floods and eventually recedes. The wave is not the ocean, and your emotion is not your essence. Still, many of us mistake emotions for truth. We feel sadness and say, "I am broken." We feel anger and say, "I am unworthy." But emotions are not your identity. They are weather passing through the sky of your mind. To believe them absolutely is to drown. To watch them with awareness is to ride their current until the storm clears. Think of the last time you felt overwhelmed, perhaps by fear or grief or longing. Did the emotion itself destroy you? Or was it your struggle against it, your refusal to let it move, that caused the suffering? A wave only drowns when you fight it. When you float, it carries you safely to shore. The Buddha taught that mindfulness is the raft. When you sit with your emotions, naming them, breathing with them, allowing them, you no longer drown. You rise above. Anger becomes a signal, not a chain. Fear becomes a teacher, not a prison. Joy becomes gratitude, not clinging. Each emotion, when seen clearly, transforms into wisdom. So ask yourself gently, which emotion is pulling you under right now? Is it sorrow, asking you to soften? Is it anger, asking you to act with clarity? Is it fear, asking you to trust more deeply? Can you ride this current instead of drowning in it? Energy is not only in thought, but in feeling. Emotions are simply thoughts swimming in the body, currents moving through your being. Let them pass, let them teach, but never mistake them for who you are. Remember this: you are not the tide, you are the ocean that holds it all. When you ride the currents with awareness, every emotion becomes a wave guiding you closer to awakening. 10. The energy of silence. Could silence hold more energy than words? In a world overflowing with noise, we often forget that silence is not absence. It is presence in its purest form. The Buddha's wisdom whispers, "In silence, even mountains speak." Within stillness lies a power deeper than sound, for it is the ground from which all energy arises. Think of silence as the night sky. To the eye it seems empty, but only within its darkness do the stars reveal themselves. Words are like daylight. They illuminate, but they also blind. Silence, like night, opens the infinite. It is not void, but fullness, not weakness, but strength. Close your eyes now. Take one slow breath, resting in complete silence. Notice how vast it feels. No noise, no demand, only space, wide enough to hold everything you carry. In this silence, energy gathers. What is scattered in sound becomes whole again. What is restless in thought becomes calm in presence. Yet we resist silence. We fill it with chatter, with distraction, with noise, as if we fear the truth it might reveal. But ask yourself, when was the last time you trusted silence to speak for you? The last time you let a pause carry more weight than words? Often, silence says what speech cannot. It carries sincerity, depth, and truth that language cannot touch. The Buddha often answered not with words, but with silence. For some questions, silence is the clearest response. It is the reminder that wisdom does not always need explanation. Sometimes it needs only stillness to be seen. Silence does not weaken communication. It strengthens it by grounding it in presence. Modern life steals silence from us. Constant notifications, endless conversations, the hum of machines, all drown out the quiet voice within. But energy thrives in silence. Like soil resting in winter, silence restores, nourishes, and prepares you for new growth. Without it, you burn out. With it, you return whole. So reflect, how much energy are you losing by fleeing silence? And how much could you reclaim if you embraced it instead? Silence is not the end of expression. It is its root. Every word worth speaking is born first in stillness. Practice this. Take moments each day to enter silence, not as emptiness, but as fullness. Sit in stillness, breathe, and let silence hold you. Watch how your energy gathers, how your presence deepens, how your spirit shines brighter after resting in that quiet. Remember this: silence is not nothing, it is everything. It is the unseen sky where your true energy glows like hidden stars. When you learn to rest in silence, you discover the infinite power that has been with you all along. 11. Detachment, the key to power. Why does letting go increase energy instead of losing it? At first, the mind resists this truth. We believe that power comes from holding on, from clinging tightly to what we desire, what we fear to lose, what we think defines us. Yet the ancient teaching reminds us, in emptiness there is fullness. Only when the hand releases its grip does it open wide enough to receive. Imagine a kite flying high. It does not rise because it clings to the ground, but because it surrenders to the wind. Its freedom lies not in control, but in trust. So it is with your energy. The more you cling to possessions, relationships, expectations, the heavier you become. Like carrying stones in your pocket, you cannot rise while weighed down. But when you let go, your energy becomes light, fluid, and unbound. Detachment is often misunderstood. It does not mean you stop caring, nor does it mean turning cold toward life. True detachment is the art of loving fully without chains, of engaging deeply without being consumed. It is like holding a bird in your palm, not gripping until it suffocates, nor letting it fall away, but offering your hand as a resting place, free to come and free to go. In that freedom, both you and the bird find peace. Now, close your eyes for a moment. Picture yourself holding a thick rope. You've been gripping it so tightly that your hands ache, the fibers cutting into your skin. This rope represents what you cling to, perhaps a past hurt, a fear of the future, or the need for control. Now slowly imagine releasing it. Watch it slip away as a bird soars into the sky. Feel in your body the same lightness, the same freedom. Notice how your energy expands, no longer trapped in struggle. Why does letting go give you more energy? Because clinging drains you. Every chain of attachment requires effort to maintain. It pulls at your mind, it knots your heart, it consumes your breath. Letting go releases this constant tension. The energy once bound in fear and control returns to you, ready to be used for growth, for joy, for presence. Consider this. How often have you exhausted yourself trying to hold on to something that was already slipping away? And how much peace came when you finally surrendered? Life is not meant to be forced into permanence. Like water, it flows. To cup it too tightly is to lose it, but to let it rest in your open hands is to experience its coolness, its refreshment, its truth. So reflect deeply. What rope are you still holding that is cutting your hands? What are you afraid to release, believing that without it, you will lose yourself? The truth is the opposite. You will not lose yourself. You will find yourself. For in letting go, you rise. In emptiness, you discover fullness. And in detachment, you discover the secret to unshakable power. Bonus lesson: becoming the source, not the seeker. What happens when you realize you are not chasing energy, you are it? This is the shift that ends the endless search, the turning point where the seeker dissolves and the source awakens. The ancient wisdom whispers, "The light you seek is the flame within." We wander through life, grasping for strength, love, and peace as though they live outside of us. Yet, just as the sun never seeks its rays but simply shines, your essence does not need to hunt for energy. It is energy itself. Think of the sun. It does not beg the sky for light. It does not question whether it is worthy to shine. It simply radiates, and the earth blossoms because of it. You are no different. The problem is not a lack of energy, but forgetting your nature. When you chase what you already are, you become like a bird searching the skies for wings, never noticing they are already attached to your body. To become the source is to rest in the truth that nothing outside defines your power. Approval, wealth, or recognition, these may reflect light, but they are not the flame. The flame is within, steady and eternal. And when you turn inward to nurture it, everything outward begins to shift. The world does not give you energy. It responds to the energy you radiate. Now pause and breathe. Imagine a golden light in your chest, soft at first, but growing warmer with every inhale. With every exhale, see it radiate outward, filling your body, touching your skin, extending into the room around you. This light is not borrowed, not given, not earned. It is yours. It does not fade when circumstances change. It cannot be stolen by loss. It cannot be dimmed by fear. It simply is because it is you. We spend so much of life as seekers. We run after happiness, chase after love, cling to external power. And yet, all along, the treasure sits quietly within, waiting for us to stop running and simply turn around. When you stop seeking, you start shining. And the paradox is this: when you shine, everything you once chased begins to come toward you, drawn like moths to a flame. Not because you demanded it, but because you remembered your essence. So ask yourself, are you ready to stop searching and start shining? To stop begging the world to fill your cup and instead recognize that you are the well? The energy you seek has never been missing. It has only been waiting for your awareness. When you awaken to this truth, your presence alone becomes a gift. You no longer drain yourself by running. You no longer fear lack. You simply radiate, and in that radiance, you become both the source and the blessing. The light you seek is already burning in your chest. All that remains is to live as though it is so. Quick summary of the principles. The world is not solid, it vibrates. Everything is energy in motion, even what feels permanent. Understanding this helps us stop clinging to illusions and realize that change is the only constant. The leaks that drain your soul. Attachments, cravings, and aversions quietly drain our inner power. Recognizing these energy leaks is the first step toward reclaiming strength and wholeness. Turning shadows into light. Negative emotions are not enemies. They are raw energy waiting to be transformed into wisdom, resilience, and inner clarity. The power of silent presence. When we gather our energy into the present moment, life becomes whole. Presence stops the mind from scattering into the past or future. The illusion of control. The more we try to grasp tightly, the more energy we lose. True mastery is found in softening, loosening, and allowing flow. The dance between flow and direction. Energy cannot be forced, it must be guided. Like water, when we stop resisting, we can channel it toward growth and peace. Karma, the echo of energy. Every thought, word, and action carries energy that inevitably returns to us. Mastering our energy is mastering our destiny. The energy of thought. Our thoughts are energetic seeds. Over time, they shape our habits, actions, and ultimately, the life we live. Emotions, the unseen currents. Emotions are powerful energy currents. When we ride them with awareness instead of resisting, they guide us to understanding and balance. The energy of silence. Silence holds profound energy. It restores, heals, and reveals truths that words often hide. Detachment, the key to power. Letting go is not weakness. It preserves and strengthens our energy. Detachment opens the door to freedom and inner power. Becoming the source, not the seeker. You are not separate from energy, you are the source. When you recognize this, you stop chasing and begin radiating peace and power. In the end, every moment of your life is an exchange of energy, shaped by what you think, what you feel, and how you act. If your energy is scattered in fear, worry, and attachment, life feels heavy. But when you learn to guide your energy with awareness, peace becomes natural, and even success flows without struggle. Buddhist wisdom reminds us that nothing is permanent and nothing is wasted. The energy you release returns to you, just as rivers return to the sea. The art of living is not in controlling everything, but in aligning with this deeper flow, where struggle turns to surrender and resistance transforms into freedom. When you realize nothing is lacking, the whole world belongs to you. What energy will you choose to cultivate and radiate today? Will you scatter it in fear or shape it with peace? If this message touched you, remember to like and share this video, share your opinion in the comment box, and subscribe to Deep Wisdom for more inspiring Buddhist insights on living a peaceful life.